My wife had 4 single male best friends. They persuaded her to go on a trip to another province, promising to cover all expenses. She packed her bags without a word and left. With them, a month later, she returned, announcing she was pregnant with my child. I begged her to have an abortion. She turned around and used my parents to force my hand. "I'm carrying the Su family's firstborn grandson," she declared. "I'm a hero. You have to do whatever I say. $10,000 a month for prenatal care. And you have to let my 4 best friends move in with us. If you don't, I'll tell your parents you forced me to kill their grandchild." I slapped the medical report across her face. Hospital certified. I was sterile. I was at work when I received the message from my wife, Brianna. She'd packed her bags and left with her 4 male besties, texting me. Only after the plane landed, I frantically called, but she either ignored me or her phone was off. She wouldn't even reply to my texts. Meanwhile, her social media was flooded with vacation selfies, each post a collage of 9 photos. Almost every picture showed her being hugged, fed, and generally treated with the intimacy of a romantic partner by one of the 4. It made me uncomfortable, especially since many of our relatives, friends, and neighbors were on her friends list. I felt like everyone was looking at me differently. I endured this for over a month. Then, one morning, Brianna appeared at our doorstep with her luggage. She rushed to hug me. "Honey, I'm back. Did you miss me? I missed you so much." Remembering her month-long silence, I couldn't help my tone. "You decided to come back? No calls, no replies. If it weren't for your social media updates, I would have called the police." Brianna stuck out her tongue. I know. I'm sorry. I was afraid you'd be mad. That's why I didn't answer. I'm back now, so please forgive me." And guess what? My friends paid for everything. I didn't spend a dime. And I brought you back so many souvenirs. I had the best time. She patted her suitcase proudly. Mentioning her friends only fueled my anger. I clenched my fists. "Tell them to stay away from you. You're a married woman gallivanting around with 4 men, hugging and cuddling. What will people think? Are you trying to embarrass me?" The thought of people gossiping about me made my blood boil. Brianna's face hardened. "Why are you so narrow-minded, just like everyone else? They're just my friends. There's nothing going on between us. If there was, why would I have married you? Those people have dirty minds. I thought you, my husband, would understand and trust me. I brought you souvenirs. I had a surprise for you. But all you do is yell at me before I even step inside. You're unbelievable." Tears welled in her eyes. She pushed past me and went inside. I could hear her crying. I punched the wall a few times to vent my frustration before heading to work. That evening, I found dinner waiting for me. Brianna, unusually, was wearing an apron, serving me soup with a gentle smile. "Honey, don't be angry. Let's not fight anymore." Brianna and I had met on a blind date. I'd married her with the intention of spending my life with her. Seeing her now, so sweet and apologetic, my anger dissipated. She was offering an olive branch, and I took it. After dinner, I did the dishes while she cut fruit and put on a movie. When I joined her, she snuggled against me. It felt like when we were first dating. The last vestiges of my anger vanished. I figured, as long as she agreed to stop these trips with her friends, we could move on. The mood was right, and I hadn't seen her in over a month. I leaned in to kiss her. Brianna put her hand over my mouth. "Wait," she said softly. "I have a surprise." "Tell me later," I said, pulling her hand away. "I want to tell you now." She gave me a playful look and placed my hand on her stomach, her voice a mix of excitement and joy. "Honey, I'm pregnant." I froze. Brianna giggled at my stunned expression. "Why are you so shocked? Are you happy?" I was ecstatic when I found out. "In 9 months, our baby will be here. I can't wait to hold our little one. Do you think it's a boy or a girl?" I didn't know what expression to make. I walked out to the balcony to smoke. Brianna followed me, asking what was wrong. I finished my cigarette. "Get an abortion tomorrow," I said quietly. Brianna's eyes widened. "Jason, are you crazy? This is our first child. How can you be so heartless?" She hit and kicked me, even biting me. I endured it, my voice calm. I'll take the day off tomorrow and go with you. Don't worry, I'll still take care of you. Brianna sobbed in my arms, then slapped me and stormed out. I sat on the couch, smoking the entire night. As dawn broke, I started cleaning up the mess, exhausted. Brianna hadn't returned. Instead, my mother-in-law called, screaming at me. I agreed to this marriage because you seemed decent. But look at you now. Brianna's pregnant, and you want her to get rid of it. You heartless monster. My poor Brianna. I shouldn't have let her marry you. My voice was hoarse from smoking. Mom, tell Brianna to come back. If she gets rid of the baby, I'll treat her well, I promise. My mother-in-law continued berating me before hanging up. I reached for another cigarette, only to find I was out. I ran my hand through my hair, frustrated with Brianna. She'd been gone for a month. Comes back announcing a pregnancy, and I'm the bad guy for suggesting an abortion? With everyone seeing her social media posts, this pregnancy would be a public embarrassment. Why couldn't she understand? Furious, I decided to deal with it when I got home. But when I opened the door, my mother was there, fussing over Brianna. Brianna, her barely there bump on full display, looked at me smugly. My mother pulled me aside. Son, she whispered, she's pregnant. Just let it go. But Mom, I choked out, it's not mine. Tears welled in her eyes. Honey, I know it's hard. Just be patient. Once the baby's born, she'll settle down. You'll have a good life together. I wanted to argue, but seeing her pleading look, I stayed silent. Brianna, knowing my mother valued the grandchild, became even more demanding, ordering my mother around while she lounged on the couch, eating fruit. My mother had rushed over without any belongings. Seeing how late it was, I took her home. When I returned, Brianna was still watching TV. Jason, stop. I need to talk to you. I stopped, waiting. Brianna continued without acknowledging me. Mom said if it's a boy, he'll be your family's heir. I'm doing you a huge favor. You owe me. From now on, you do what I say. 1. You don't interfere with my friends. 2. $10,000 a month. I need it for the baby. 3. We're moving to a bigger house so my friends can move in and take care of me and the baby. Just 3 things. If you don't agree, I'll tell your mother you killed her grandchild. You saw how much she wants this baby. I doubt you want to hurt her. Remembering my mother's pleading face, I gave in. Fine, I gritted out, I agree. Brianna beamed and immediately called her friends. I retreated to my room. The next day, Brianna was up early, flitting around like a butterfly. I left for work. That evening, I heard commotion before I even reached the door. The door was ajar. I pushed it open and heard voices. See? I told you. Just use his parents. He'll cave. Just say something dramatic. Scare them a little. He'll have to give in. Once he backs down, he'll keep backing down. He'll put up with anything. What a spineless man. I can see right through him. I stepped further in and saw the 4 men surrounding Brianna on the couch. They stopped talking when they saw me. Brianna, cradling her stomach, stood up. Honey, she asked, noticing my empty hands. Where's the groceries? I texted you. I didn't buy any, I replied flatly. I texted you. My mother just left. And this is how you treat me? I'm pregnant. Do you even care? She snapped. Is this how you treat me the minute she's gone? Are you trying to force her to come back and take care of me? I remained silent, but her friends whispered encouragements. That's right, Brianna. You tell him. You're pregnant. You can be tougher on him. We've got your back. If you don't put him in his place now, he'll choose his mother over you when you give birth. Be more assertive. We're here. He won't dare do anything. Emboldened, Brianna lifted her chin. You're in the wrong. Go kneel by the door and apologize 100 times. Then I'll let it go. Otherwise, I'll call your parents and tell them you're trying to kill me. Her friends applauded. Well said, Brianna. That's the way to do it. See if he dares to disrespect you again. I looked at Brianna, her head swelling with their praise, her judgment clouded. I'm your husband, I said coldly. Do you really want me to do this? I worked all day, came home to no food, And now you want me to kneel and apologize because I didn't see your text? Who's really in the wrong here, Brianna? Brianna hesitated, a flicker of uncertainty in her eyes. Her friends continued their chorus. Don't back down, Brianna. You're pregnant. What are you afraid of? If you give in now, he'll walk all over you. We're your best friends. We won't let him hurt you. Brianna's hesitation vanished. I don't care, she shouted. I'm carrying your heir. You should listen to me. You're the one at fault. If you treated me and the baby better, I wouldn't have to punish you. You didn't see my message. You didn't buy groceries. Now none of us have anything to eat. So go kneel. Stay there until we're not angry anymore. I stared at her, a stranger in my own home. Exhausted, I didn't have the energy to argue. I turned and walked towards my room. Brianna grabbed my arm. Where do you think you're going? I'm not finished. I said, kneel. This is just a warning. Next time, the punishment will be worse. This was absurd. I shook her off. Are you insane? Have I done anything to deserve this? Kneel? Because I didn't buy groceries? You have 4 able-bodied men here with phones. You're not going to starve. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Brianna, humiliated and urged on by her friends, blocked my path. You're not going anywhere. You're going to kneel and apologize. Her friends applauded again. Brianna, oblivious, gave me a defiant look. Speechless, I pushed her aside firmly. I'm going to my room. Figure out dinner yourselves. Brianna stumbled. Her friends rushed to her side, fussing over her. I didn't look back, shutting my bedroom door. I heard Brianna crying as the door clicked shut. Exhausted, I fell asleep almost instantly. I was jolted awake by deafening music. I checked my phone, 11:30 p.m. My phone buzzed with notifications. The neighborhood group chat was exploding. Who the hell is blasting music at this hour? Are you sick? My baby just fell asleep. Have some decency. This is disturbing the peace. Turn it off, or I'm calling the police. I rubbed my temples, my eyes burning, and stormed out. Brianna, in a slip dress, was dancing provocatively with one of her friends. They'd turned the living room into a makeshift nightclub. Lost in their own world, they didn't notice me. I marched over and yanked the power cord. Silence. Brianna and her friends snapped back to reality. Seeing me, she pulled up her slipping dress strap, glaring. What are you doing? Why did you turn off the music? This is my first party as a mom-to-be. We were having fun. Plug it back in, or you'll regret it. How she would make me regret it, I didn't care to know. It's almost midnight, I said, trying to remain calm. You're disturbing everyone. Other people need to sleep. Do you want the police to come? Something I said triggered her. She poked me in the chest. You think you're embarrassed? I'm the one who's embarrassed. You think you're so great? You're worthless. Trash. You have no right to tell me what to do. I could dump you and have a line of men waiting for me. How dare you interfere, you loser. I smelled the strong alcohol on her breath. You shouldn't be drinking while pregnant. It's not good for the baby. I frowned at her friends. Didn't they have any common sense? 2 of them, emboldened by alcohol, flanked Brianna, their arms around her shoulders. I was tall and imposing, and they usually avoided confronting me directly, preferring to manipulate Brianna. But now, drunk, they felt brave. I've had enough of you. Who are you to talk? Brianna makes the rules here. You're just a dog. We say what goes. Kneel down and lick my shoes or get out. They seemed to relish humiliating me, sensing an opportunity to assert dominance. One of them stumbled towards the unplugged cord. I pushed him. Already unsteady, he fell onto the couch, landing with a thud. He wasn't hurt, just sprawled out. Brianna, thinking I'd attacked him, lunged at me, hitting, kicking, and biting. She sank her teeth into my neck. I pushed her away in pain. Are you crazy? Brianna fell to the floor, wailing dramatically. He's trying to kill me. He's going to kill me and hide my body. Help. Somebody help. Her friends, also drunk, panicked and scattered, tripping over furniture and yelling about murder. In the chaos, someone stepped on Brianna. She screamed, "Help! My stomach! It hurts! Help! Someone help me! Jason, where are you? Help me!" I flicked on the overhead light. Brianna lay on the floor, clutching her stomach, her face pale, sweat dripping from her forehead. I smelled blood. She grabbed my shirt. "Jason," she gasped. "My stomach, the baby." I didn't know what was wrong, but seeing her in pain, I scooped her up and rushed to the hospital. I called the hospital to pick up her drunk friends. Brianna had been drinking, and with the injury to her stomach, the doctor said the baby couldn't be saved. She needed surgery immediately. I signed the consent forms and handled the admissions process. Brianna woke up the next afternoon, remembering what had happened. She reached for her stomach, trembling. "Jason, the baby." Seeing her pale face, I couldn't bring myself to tell her the truth. "You can have another one," I said softly. Brianna burst into tears, understanding my meaning. I held her, trying to comfort her. She eventually cried herself to sleep. I kissed her forehead and texted her to let her know where I was going before heading to the market to buy ingredients for soup and a meal. She needed to regain her strength after the surgery. When I returned to the hospital, Brianna was surrounded by her 4 friends. They all had various injuries, the room looking like a triage center. I felt a sense of foreboding. Before I could speak, Brianna accused me. "Jason, I knew you did this on purpose. They could have saved the baby. Why did you sign the consent form? You used this as an excuse to kill my baby. You're evil." I tried to explain patiently. "You were bleeding internally. The doctor said there was a risk of losing your uterus. You're lucky they saved you. You're young. You can have more children." Before I could finish, her friends whispered to her, "Don't listen to him, Brianna. He never wanted this baby. He's the reason you lost the baby. He hurt you. He hit us too. Make him pay. Avenge our lost baby, Brianna." I was furious. They were blaming me for their drunken injuries? "First of all," I said, "whether or not we have children is between my wife and me. It has nothing to do with you. Second, I didn't hit anyone. You were drunk and causing chaos, breaking things in my apartment. I should be the one demanding compensation. Stop slandering me." They fell silent, whispering to Brianna again. "See, Brianna? He's so disrespectful. He must have hit us while he was drunk. And the baby, it's all his fault. Don't let him get away with murder, Brianna. Call the police. He needs to be punished." Brianna hesitated. Her friends pressed a phone into her hand. I frowned. "How far are you going to take this, Brianna?" I'd tolerated her friends before, but this was too much. Brianna looked at me, her hesitation replaced by determination. She dialed the police. "Hello, police. My husband tried to kill me." I looked at Brianna's hate-filled face, then at her smirking friends. I was done. The police arrived quickly. They took Brianna's statement, photographed her injuries, and copied her medical records. Her friends corroborated her story, claiming I'd assaulted them as well. The police took me in for questioning. As they led me away, I looked at Brianna. "Aren't we husband and wife?" I asked. Brianna remained silent as her friends swarmed around her. I didn't need to hear what they were saying. Her silence spoke volumes. My parents bailed me out. My mother's eyes were filled with tears. "It's my fault," she sobbed. "It's all my fault." I patted her shoulder, saying nothing. When we got home, Brianna and her friends were there, eating takeout, drinking, and making a mess. Brianna glared at me. "Jason, you have the nerve to come back after what you did? You deserve to die." I remained silent. My mother intervened. "Brianna, it's not what you think. Jason had his reasons. Please drop the charges." Brianna scoffed. "I'll consider it. Kneel and beg, and maybe I'll change my mind." My mother started to kneel. I stopped her. Brianna's friends started chanting, urging my mother to kneel and kowtow. Brianna didn't stop them. My heart sank. I'd stayed through the pregnancy, through her friends moving in, even through the miscarriage. But now, I saw the futility of it all. I looked at Brianna. "Let's get a divorce," I said firmly. Panic flashed across Brianna's face. "Jason, I..." Her words were drowned out by her friends' cheers. Yes, Brianna's free. Now she can party with us without anyone nagging her. Congratulations, Brianna. You're finally free of that deadbeat. Take him for everything he's got, Brianna. Don't let him use it on another woman. Trapped by their words, Brianna played along. Fine, but I get the house and the car. I shook my head. My parents paid the down payment on the house. I borrowed money for the renovations. You contributed $2,000. I'll split it with you as marital property. The car is mine from before the marriage. You don't even have a license. You have all our savings. Keep it. I don't want anything. I'd given Brianna my entire salary for 5 years. After expenses, there should be at least $100,000 in the account. She could have it. Brianna was furious. There's only about $10,000 left. Do you think you can get rid of me with pennies? I'm only asking for the house and the car. I'm being generous by not taking everything. I paused, realizing something. Where did all the money go? Brianna mumbled something, her friends looking down guiltily. I understood. So that's why you wanted them to move in, I said coldly. You planned to make me support all of you. None of these men had real jobs. They simply knew how to flatter Brianna, maintaining their positions as her best friends. Brianna defended them. They're my friends. Of course they can live with me. I wasn't interested in arguing. Bring your ID tomorrow. We're getting divorced. I turned and left without a second glance. I heard Brianna asking her friends what they were going to do, their voices offering empty reassurances. I didn't listen. I stayed at my parents' house that night. The next day, I took the day off to finalize the divorce. I told Brianna to meet me at the Civil Affairs Bureau, but when I arrived, a crowd had gathered. They surrounded me, thrusting microphones and phones in my face. We heard you beat your pregnant wife and caused her to miscarry. You beat everyone. You don't deserve to live. You're a monster. Before I could understand what was happening, they started cursing me. I frowned at Brianna. What is this? A simple divorce. Why this spectacle? Brianna's eyes were red and swollen. Everyone should know what you did to me, to my friends, she said hoarsely. I want everyone to know that I'm the one leaving you, that you're the one at fault. You deserve to be punished. Something felt wrong. She was trying to use public opinion against me to achieve some goal. I'd seen the damage online mobs could inflict. This couldn't go unchecked. It would affect not only me, but my parents as well. I called the police. They arrived quickly, made everyone delete the videos, and issued warnings. The crowd dispersed, leaving only Brianna and her friends. I looked at Brianna. They're gone. Let's go inside. Brianna bit her lip and followed me inside. The process was smooth. We just had to wait 30 days for the cooling-off period. Brianna left immediately with her entourage. I drove home, packed my belongings, and left. I didn't see Brianna or her friends. I moved back in with my parents. Brianna could have the apartment after the divorce was finalized. I didn't care where she went. Over the next few days, my phone rang constantly. Relatives called to berate me, accusing me of being heartless, of beating Brianna, causing the miscarriage, and having an affair during her recovery. I wearily explained the situation, trying to avoid escalating things. I knew Brianna was behind it, but I didn't confront her. She was still my wife, technically, and I wanted to maintain some semblance of dignity. On the 28th day of the cooling-off period, my mother and I were cooking. She felt guilty about Brianna and wanted to take her some of her favorite dishes, hoping to salvage the marriage. The doorbell rang. My mother went to answer it. Then I heard a scream. I rushed to the door. My mother had fallen. My mother-in-law, Brianna, and a group of their relatives stood there, looking menacing. My mother-in-law yelled, "Where is she?" The homewrecker. And you. Having an affair, beating my Brianna, causing her to lose her baby. You'll rot. In hell. You're the one at fault. You'll leave with nothing. The house, the car, everything goes to Brianna. And you'll kneel and apologize. I helped my mother up, frowning at Brianna. What is this? Didn't we agree on the terms? Brianna avoided my gaze. My mother tried to intervene. This isn't what it looks like. My mother-in-law spat. And you old hag. If you'd treated Brianna better, she wouldn't be leaving. Your precious son treated my daughter horribly. Why don't you die with him and make it up to her? They could insult me all they wanted, but I wouldn't let them disrespect my mother. Don't push it, I said coldly, stepping in front of my mother. Neither of us did anything wrong. My mother-in-law yelled, Nothing wrong. You beat Brianna. You wanted her to get rid of the baby. You're a monster. The other relatives joined in, demanding compensation. I knew I had to be firm. I rushed to my room, grabbed the medical report, and slammed it on the table. You say I forced her to get an abortion? The doctor said I'm infertile. It wasn't my baby. I asked her to get rid of it so we could have a fresh start. What did I do wrong? Fine. You all wanted her to keep it. I was willing to raise it as my own. But what did she do? She brought her friends over. They got drunk. One of them stepped on her, and I took her to the hospital. She listened to them and called the police on me. My mother tried to comfort her, and she demanded she kneel. After all that, how can you blame me for wanting a divorce? I've given her my entire salary for years. There should be over $100,000 saved. Ask her where the money is. I showed them the video from that night. My mother-in-law turned on Brianna, slapping her. I thought you said you'd ended things with those men? Brianna remained silent, covering her face. Where's the money? Her mother demanded, slapping her again. Brianna sobbed, begging for mercy. Her mother dragged her away. I put my arm around my mother as we watched them leave. My mother-in-law brought Brianna to finalize the divorce. She apologized profusely. We're so sorry, Jason. We arranged the blind date hoping Brianna would distance herself from those men. We thought you were a good man. We never imagined this would happen. I found out the truth. The baby wasn't yours. Those men planned to trap you. And the money? They spent it all. Don't worry, she's leaving with nothing. We'll keep an eye on her. She won't bother you again. I nodded and took the divorce certificate. I later heard that Brianna, desperate to stay with her friends, jumped out the window and ran away. Her parents searched for days, heartbroken. I just smiled. My mother arranged another blind date. I met a kind, divorced woman with a lovely daughter. She cooks dinner every night, and her daughter greets me with a hug when I get home. I don't think about Brianna anymore. This simple, ordinary life is all the happiness I need.